righty. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Feminine Economy inside of Build a Six-Figure Business. I'm Chris Williams. I am the founder and creator of Activate Abundance Academy, if you don't know me. And I am here with one of my very dear friends and impactful coach. I still work with Liz. She is my personal mindset coach. And I reached out to her and I said, Liz, will you please come into the Feminine Economy and share some of your brilliance, because she's got some golden nuggets. And I truly, truly believe that mindset is at least 80% of the success that we get to create. So Liz, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for speaking truth over my clients inside of Activate Abundance and also sharing your genius here.
Thank you for having me. You know, I will go anywhere, anytime to talk to you, live or any other way. So I was thrilled to be invited, and I'm really excited to talk about mindset and doing great things out in the world and get to interact all day with your people. I love that. I'm so excited for the opportunity to answer questions and just be in there all month and just be a part of the conversation.
Yeah. So I'm in North Carolina. Liz is in Massachusetts. Pop in the comments below. Let us know where you're watching from. Even if you're watching the replay, that's great. We want to know where you are. And just as a reminder, we are going to be posting in the description Liz's freebie. So she's got an amazing mindset reset series. You can get that. I'll remind you at the end to grab that inside of the in the description of our video. And Liz has got an amazing Facebook group. I'm going to let Liz tell you a little bit about our Facebook group, because she does live trainings every single Monday. And I'm telling you, they are she could charge for these. Like, she could easily charge for access to this, and she doesn't, because she's so incredibly generous. So Liz, you've been doing this for decades. Will you kind of share a little bit? No, sorry.
Well, easy, Chris.
I have to. We both have been doing this work for decades.
We started when we were 12. That's what you meant. Yes, we started when we were 12.
But will you share, like, you know, through the years, you and I both are hearing so many myths about mindset. And I'm so excited that you titled this, you know, what they're not telling you about mindset. You know, what are the myths that people are telling you about mindset? Can we start there? Is that okay?
Yeah, I feel like if we had 9 hours, we could barely get through all the myths about mindset, because there's a lot of junk out there. And I think most people are well-intentioned that are promoting things that aren't true. But really, the message that I want to get out into the world and that I want people to understand is that changing your mind, which is how you change your life, is not a difficult or lengthy process. And we're just not hearing that. We're hearing that it takes hours of meditation every single day, that it takes, you know, like hours of journaling and like lengthy programs. And my message is, what I teach is what's called self-directed neuroplasticity, and which just means changing your own brain. Our brains can change in a couple of different ways. One of the ways our brains can change is from experience, something that happens to us, and we literally have our brain change to reflect having been through that experience. A lot of times that's something traumatic. It's something, you know, that's very jarring to our system. And we certainly change from that. And everybody I talk to knows that that's true, believes that's true, and probably has some examples of that being true for themselves. They're like, oh, the day that I was never the same, or I'll never forget when that person said the thing to me, or whatever it is. And that's an example of how quickly we can change. When we go to the flip side, wanting to change so we can make more money, to put our message out into the world, so we can improve our relationships, so we can lose weight, so we can build confidence, suddenly we believe, oh, this is going to take a really long time, and I need years of therapy and regression, and I have to go through all my past life experiences, and this is going to be a lot. And then we don't do anything, because we are frozen in the headlights of the fear that this is a long, protracted event to try and change. And so my message is, if you can change your brain in an instant from something traumatic, why would you not be able to change your brain in an instant for the better when you understand how to do it? And that's my work in the world, is to show women, to teach women how our brain operates. For God's sakes, there is an operating system there. And show them how to operate it, show them how to understand it, and show them how to use it. Most of us just get up every day and we just kind of do the same thing we did yesterday. We don't think about our thinking. We never question our beliefs. We never think, maybe I'm just running a program. We just do what we did yesterday. And honestly, Christine, I liken this to the craziness of getting into your car in your driveway and putting your own damn address into the GPS over and over and over, and then wondering, that's weird, I never wind up anywhere different.
I wanted to go to Starbucks. Why am I still sitting in my driveway?
Because it's the same set of instructions. It's the same program that's running in your brain every day. And no sooner you're going to get out of the driveway when you keep putting your own address in, are you going to get a different life or a different result when you keep thinking the same thoughts? And that is the best analogy I can give people. So I want to empower women to understand how to use their brains. And I want to say one other thing, because I get crazy about this. It doesn't matter who you are, what you've been through, how old you are, how young you are, how much education you have, how much drive you have, how big your why is. Are you a good person? Are you an earnest person? Are you a deserving person? None of this actually matters. It doesn't matter. What matters is that you have a brain. I've got 26-year-olds I have a 26-year-old in my mastermind right now, sitting alongside an 80-year-old, doing the same exact work. I have people that have just started their path toward being an entrepreneur, just like haven't made $10,000. They're just starting out. And the work is the same as my 8-figure income earners. It's exactly the same. And we got to get this message out, because we can all do this and we can do it quickly. And once we learn how to do it, the same brain work works in every single area of your life. And that is the good news that I just want to spread and share with people and empower them to learn how to operate the most powerful machine you'll ever have access to, which is your own brain, for sure.
Oh my gosh, absolutely. 100%. One of the things that I love about what you do is that you help us step into a new identity, right? This new way of being. And that only happens if you think new thoughts, if you create new beliefs around that. And, you know, it's so funny because I hear so many people talk about imposter syndrome, or I can't do the thing, or I'm afraid to do this, and, you know, that is one state of being based on one state of thoughts that people have on repeat. And I love that you actually teach us how to think about thinking, right? It's what thought am I actually thinking? And is that even true? And gosh, well, what if I could change that? What if all it took was changing the thoughts that I had playing on repeat into something that helped me step into that state of being that I wanted to be in, so that then I could take the actions, right? I also love that what you share is it's not just about meditating your way to success. It's not just about thinking new thoughts. We know that we have to think new thoughts, but we also have to take action. We're not just going to be oh, I just thought about, making $10,000 today. That's amazing. And you make such a great differentiation between the difference between vision boards and affirmations and, helping people see that those are tools, but those aren't the things that actually change our brain. And so I would love, and I know I just threw a whole hell of a lot at you right now, but I'm just oh my gosh, and she does this, and I've learned this, and I've learned this, and I've learned this. And, I'd love for you to kind of speak into some of, those pieces of, well, I haven't done it yet, therefore I can't do this, or this happened to me in the past, therefore I can't have this, or I don't know where to do X, Y, Z, or I'm confused, or I'm overwhelmed, or, all of those thoughts that keep us stuck and in our way.
Yeah, I want to clarify. I am not anti-meditation. I am not anti-vision board. Look, the science backs up the power of meditation. And so I will never say anything other than, if you enjoy meditating, if you have the ability to meditate, and if you're seeing results, then have at it, whether it's a very brief amount of meditation or you're a super committed transcendental meditator. But what I always say to people that meditate is, what's the plan for the other 18 hours of the day or 16 hours of the day when you're awake? We have 80,000 thoughts a day. And even if you can slow your brain waves down, which is what's happening in meditation, that's a very powerful skill to have. When you get up, like you go back to thinking your programs. And so we have to have more awareness than that. If you like a vision board, fantastic. If you like journaling, fantastic. If you like breath work, EFT, all of these things are amazing tools, but in and of themselves alone, they are not powerful enough to overcome the rest of your thinking every single day. And so, look, we are what we believe. I always say to my students when they're just starting out with me, write down on a piece of paper all the ways you could finish the sentence, I am. And some of these things will be amazing, right? I'm smart, I'm funny, I'm outgoing, I'm adventurous. Sure, great. And then there'll also be the I am opinionated, I am troubled in relationship, I am. So you're going to see a whole compilation of those things. And what I want them to realize is that those are just thoughts. They're just beliefs. What's the difference between a thought and a belief? A belief is a thought that's been repeated enough that it takes on program status. That means is that part of your brain that does 95% of the thinking automates something. So you think something once, that's not going to get automated, but you think something over and over and over, your brain's job is to conserve energy to keep you alive. And so when it sees enough repetition, it will send it into automation. And so now you don't have to think it, it thinks you, basically. And we see this all over our lives, and it's a good thing. Watch somebody learning to drive, and it's horrifying how many things they have to focus on and be conscious of to even get out of the driveway, right? But once you know how to drive, you can drive, you know, singing and, you know, playing with the radio and, you know, finding something in your purse. I mean, you can do a million things. And half the time when you drive, you don't even remember how you got to the dry cleaners. You're like, oh my God, how did I get here? Because you're not driving. Your program is driving. Your subconscious is driving. And this is a good thing, right? This is a great thing. It makes us super efficient. But we also have overwhelm programs. And we also have confusion programs. And we also have I'm a not enough programs, or I have to get ready programs, or I'm afraid programs. Those programs are running just as efficiently as the one that has you able to ride a bike, even though you haven't ridden a bike for 20 years. Someone says, hey, you want to go bike riding? You jump on. And what's driving that bike? Your subconscious is driving that bike. It remembers how to ride a bike. So we're doing this in ways that serve us, but we're doing this in a lot of ways that don't serve us. And we have to be onto ourselves. I suggest to my clients, everything should be open for renegotiation. Nothing should feel like it's nailed down. There's so few things about who we are that are facts. Sure, your height, your weight, your eye color, where you physically are standing presently. You know, I'm in Massachusetts. These are facts. But most of what we believe we are is made up. And I'll go as far as to say we didn't even make it up for ourselves, because in our what we call thetagenic period of time, 0 to 7 years old, we're in a theta state more than any other state. That's just a brainwave state. It's very similar to a meditation state. And it means that our subconscious is wide open for suggestion. So it's sort of like for the first 7 years of your life, you're walking around in a bit of like a hypnotic state where anything that's suggested is easily absorbed by you. And so most of us, by the time we're, you know, 9, 10, 11, we're actually little programmed beings that reflect the world around us, reflect our babysitters, our parents, our grandparents, the school teachers, the next door neighbor. We have picked up their programs. We've picked up their beliefs. They don't even have to try and give them to us. We'll just pick them up. And we are now programmed to be that. And we never question it. And so we wake up at 35 years old, 40 years old, maybe 50 years old, and we believe all these things about ourselves that we never chose. And they're only true because we're expressing them and creating evidence to support them. And so we call that confirmation bias. And so we believe it more and more and more. So it's so important to question everything. To your point about the action, I'm an action taker. I believe in taking action. And I'm going to tell anybody that's listening, you can't build a business without taking action. Like, it's not happening, sister. Like, you have to be a mover. You have to be a doer. You have to be a trier. You have to. Business is an experiment. It's hypothesis and testing, evaluation, hypothesis, testing, that's what business is. And so any extent to which our own programs and our own thinking has us captive to our own mind, and we're afraid to take action, or believing we have to be further along to take action, or thinking, what if I fail when I take action? Those programs that stop us from taking action are stopping us from being who we're capable of being. And that's why we have to question them, and we have to reevaluate them, because you can't sit around in the lotus position, smelling incense and thinking lovely thoughts and grow a business. You have to get out on the sidewalk of life and try some things and talk to some people. And that's going to take a certain type of thinking to do that. So when people are like, well, I'm afraid, I'm like, well, then you're either going to have to learn how to do it afraid, or we're going to have to come up with another way for you to program that brain of yours. Because from the I'm afraid and I won't, you can't grow a business.
Yeah. Yeah. And, you know, the other thing that I see that is, and I'm so glad that you are able to help our clients move through this. Like, that's one of the reasons why I'm like, I want Liz in my program, because while I can give strategy, like, you are going to help people get out of their way quicker than quick, which is so incredible. Is sometimes we also have things about other people, right? Oh, I don't want to invite somebody to work with me because they might think that they're, you know, I'm being salesy, or they might not, you know, we have these other thoughts about what we think other people are thinking of us too, that stop us in our tracks.
Yeah. I mean, I have some kind of harsh thoughts about that, if I'm being honest. I feel like, and you know, I certainly can say it to my own clients, but I kind of feel like when we're saying, and listen, I used to say those things, and I used to think those things and feel those things too. So with love, I say, who are you focused on when you're thinking about being sounding salesy, or appearing pushy, or calling again, or leaving another message? Like, you've lost that posture that allows you to grow a business because you're thinking about yourself. And I've been there and done that. And I think some of that is just the natural evolution of becoming an entrepreneur. But I always say, when belief is high, fear lowers. And that doesn't mean it evaporates, because I think whenever you're doing something new, there is an element of like, oh, I've never done that before, like that. I mean, I think that's just a human normal response. And I don't know that we ever completely override that. But when you get your belief high enough about your service, about your product, about that thing you're putting out in the world, the book you're writing, whatever it is, doesn't matter what it is. When your belief is dialed in enough, which is our responsibility to dial that in, no one's going to give that to us. When you dial in your belief enough, you become much more fearless. And you start to think, if I don't tell this person the first time, the second time, remind them, if I don't risk the no, if I don't do the thing, then what's going to happen is this person doesn't know that there's a solution to their problem, or there's a relief to their pain, or there's a way to do the thing that they dream of doing. And so it starts to feel more like a mission and less like effort. And it feels like it's incumbent upon me to do this. I like that approach better than, let me see if I can find my Pollyanna mindset, where I always feel good about talking to everybody all the time, and everyone's going to love me, and I'm never going to feel salesy. Like, I kind of think that's total bullshit, and it's not the right way to come at it. I think we have to play a bigger game than that. And say, this matters enough to me to do it, even when I feel fill in the blank, tired, unsure, worried. This is big enough that it drives me. And that is really what I see with entrepreneurs who are really successful, business women who are really successful, have that inside of them. They're not, it's the myth is that, like, we get to like Fearless Island. And there's some place, you know, eventually you arrive on Fearless Island, and everyone out there is fearless like you are, and it's one big fearless party, and you're never like fearful again, and it's just amazing. And it's just not true, because you and I know, you talk to someone starting out and they're like, well, I don't know if I can do it, or how will I sound when I do it? And then you go over and you talk to the 8-figure income earners, and they're like, I don't know if I can keep this up, and now I really want to do this bigger thing, and what if and it's like they're mirrors of each other. And neither believes that. The
Yes.
eight-figure income earner thinks that the person starting out probably doesn't have as much they have to grapple with. And the starting out person thinks, oh, when I get over there, I'm just going to be like fearless.
Yep.
And that's one of the things I love about putting women like that together
Mhm.
in one room, which I'm blessed enough to have in my programs, is that they look around at each other and they're like, oh my God,
Mhm.
we're so much more alike than we are different. Our brains all go down the same rabbit holes, no
Mhm.
matter how much money we're making or how old we are, or what part of the
Yep.
world we come from, or what our religion is, or our ethnicity. Like our
Mhm.
damn brains are what we have to manage all the
Yep.
time.
Yep. Yep.
And again, to your point, we've got to get into action. We
Mhm.
have to. There are strategies to pursue if you want to be successful in business. So the
Mhm.
question isn't how do I get everybody to like me? The question is how do I get myself to move?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. And how do I take it off of just making it about me? Because I know that that's one of my, when I look back on my business, I can definitely point to a place where I shifted out of making it about me and focusing on them. And it opened up for me. I was no longer, worried about, well, what if they don't like what it is that I say? What if this isn't a right fit? What if they can't afford it? What if, like all of the gazillion excuses, right? And when I took it off of making it about me, making that conversation about me, and I put it on, how can I serve them? How can I
Right.
help them?
Right.
What is it that they're looking for? Regardless of whether they worked with me or not, which made it so much easier for me to have conversations. I just got to show up and give value and serve generously and see, I don't know, do I even have something in my toolbox that might support them? And if I do, I'm going to share it and I'm going to let them know about it because they are struggling, because they're suffering, because that is what I want to do, is actually help them move out of Pain Island and into whatever experience they want to create. And
Yeah.
I think that thought and that belief that I have, that I get to not make it about me and make it about them, that I get to just give value and share and invite them to take the next step, makes it so much easier to
Yeah.
show up than if it's all about me. And what if I don't close the client? And what if they say no? And what does this mean about me? And all of these stories, which we have about, well, what are we making this event think? What are we making this specific situation mean? What are we like? It opens up so much more confidence.
And to your point, some will, some won't.
Yeah.
So what? I mean,
Yeah.
that's the reality.
Yes,
You're not
yes,
going to offer like 100 people your thing, and 100 people are not going to say yes. That's how the game is played. It's like you can't roll the dice 50 times and always have it come up as, that's just statistically, that's not even possible.
Yep.
So do we go into this understanding, like I said, some will, some won't, so what? That's fine. And I also think, and I think you're a beautiful example. I mean, this month for 30 days inside of, this container, you're offering all of this value. And I always say, I personally believe that money is the echo of value. That if we just focus on how can I give more value? How can I show up today and say this in a different way, or teach us in a different way, or come in another angle, or help someone in a way that I haven't thought of helping them before. If that's our mindset, like the money will find you. Yep. I've never seen anyone successful that just goes after the money. But most of the most successful people I know, which includes being balanced and happy and healthy and all that, are people that really are incredible value givers. And you see that in the world. And there's also a lot of it that they do behind the scenes quietly that you don't see. You don't see the scholarship to their program. You don't see the fact that they got on a call with someone and just helped them and never got any payment for it. Like, that's not necessarily out in the world. You're not seeing it. And you and I know these people. But this is how they operate their business. They come from a sense of, like I said, it's a mission, it's a purpose, it's larger. And they don't think value ever is lost. They're not like, well, I'm not giving you time unless I get money. They don't do that math. They don't do that equation. They're just like, my job is to put value out in the world. And it's none of my business how that money comes back to me. Like just trusting and knowing. You build a business, you have offers, you show up to serve in all the ways you can, and the money will come in one way or the other. And often comes in ways that you couldn't have predicted.
Oh, totally.
Sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Oh my gosh. I'm just going to like hit the high five button on that one, because I can't tell you how many times that's happened where I've shown up and I've given value in one way and clients come in from another way, or someone's reached out to me for it's like, the energy that we're putting out, the value that we're putting out will always come back to us. It just might not come through the front door that we're looking at.
Totally. And
Yeah.
it's so fun when you realize that principle,
Mhm.
because all of a sudden you're just obsessed with giving value.
Yeah.
And that takes the focus off of you. And it's
Mhm.
just running a completely different program. When
Yeah.
you're asking a question like, how can I, do this without being visible? Or how can I do this and have everybody like me? Or,
Mhm.
never stumble over a word. You're asking the
Mhm.
wrong questions. You're in a program that doesn't serve you. When you
Yeah.
get up every day and you're like, what can I do today that's of value?
Mhm.
What's a creative way I can say something so someone hears it in a way I've like never put it out before and they've never heard it before? When you're, dare I say, obsessed and feel compelled to think that
Mhm.
way, it's the ideas start dropping in, the connections start happening. And that's not to say that you never feel any fear or hesitation, but again, you're pulled forward by something that's
Greater.
larger.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And
Oh,
you
I
do
love
move
this.
from that place of value. You do move because you're
Mhm.
asking yourself, what can I do today? And you're solving for that rather than how do I do this without being seen?
Mhm.
Yeah.
So good. Liz, I love these conversations. Anything else that you want to share with women who are either just starting their business, or maybe they feel that they're not getting traction as quickly, or if they're like, yeah, this sounds great, but
Yeah. I mean, keep going,
Mhm.
keep going. When somebody says, well, it hasn't worked yet, or I'm doing it enough people are showing up or responding or whatever it is, I always say it's not working until it works.
Mhm.
You're falling off the bike that you're trying to learn to ride every single damn time until the first time you pedal and stay up.
Mhm.
Like up until that moment, it's nothing but failure. Watch a little toddler learn to walk. Watch a little 1-year-old getting up, fall, getting up, fall, getting up, fall, one step down, one step down, one step, over and over and over, because you're always failing until that program kicks in.
Mhm.
So you could be 2 tries away from something hitting.
Yeah.
And really, we just have to build that muscle. And I also
Mhm.
think there are times to pivot. And, that's probably for people that are further down in their business. There's times to assess and pivot.
Mhm.
But if you believe in what you have to put out in the world, then your work is to learn how to operate your brain so it is on your team working for you, and you are the boss of your brain.
Mhm.
Your brain is a tool, and you can use it to put all your goodness and brilliance out into the world. But if you sit back and you let it make the suggestions, if you let it drive the show, you won't like where it takes you, because your
Yeah.
brain is wired to keep you alive and safe, not for happiness or success or to be popular or anything else. It's
Mhm.
the only wiring our brain has is to keep us alive.
Mhm.
And so to that, we are wired to be fearful. We are wired to be hesitant. We are wired to run back to what we've always known before. And that's true for all of us. And we're not overriding that. We have to evolve that out, which is probably another million years or so. So
Yeah.
we have to be proactive. You can't sit back with fingers crossed. This is
Mhm.
daily work. Mindset is daily work. Every
Absolutely.
day being the boss of your brain and deciding this is how I will choose to think. And look, there are techniques and tools to do this. I mean, there's a way you learn how to do this. You don't just cross your fingers and try and think. There's methodology that I teach inside of your program and I teach inside
Yeah.
my programs.
Yeah.
But it is daily work.
Yeah.
It's not heavy lifting. You can get the hang of this so fast, and then the world literally becomes your oyster. Literally.
Mhm.
So I would say don't give up. Learn how to operate your mind like a boss.
Yeah.
Learn how to do that. Be the boss of your brain and stay with it. And don't look outside for what you want in the world. Know that you create it inside. It's an inside
Mhm.
out job. And so work on how you think and who you're being and what your programs are that are running. Work on that and know that that will impact everything that you want to see in the world.
Oh my gosh, Liz. Yes, I was going to stop after this, but I can't because like you just, it's like you said something so good that I just want to dive into more. And that is, it's an inside out job, right? So often we're like, oh, this thing happened, therefore I feel, or
Right.
once I do the thing, then I'll feel confident, or, and so many times and you remind me this all the time, that happened because of what you were thinking. It
Right.
wasn't that like you're not happy now or not excited or whatever because this event happened. It was the energy and the thoughts and the beliefs that I was in first that created that event to happen. Could we please just go there for a little bit? It's so good.
Yeah. Well, you hit the nail on the head.
Mhm,
What most people believe is I got to fix the things outside of me. I got to
mhm,
get all the stuff, all the ducks in a row, and
mhm,
then I'll feel, and then I'll be capable of, and then I'll get the result. So we spend, most people, all of our time as an outside in
mhm,
concept, trying to fix the things. And the truth is that's not the way it works. So
mhm,
again, we're not dumb, we're not lazy, we're just misinformed, ill-informed. It
mhm,
is inside out. Your thoughts are creating solutions. They're also creating problems.
mhm.
Your thoughts are driving everything. Your thought about something is what creates your feelings. And people say, no, that's not true because that thing happened and then I felt this. No, you had to have a thought about that. If you don't think about the thing, you can't have a feeling about it. If
Yep.
you don't know about something, you don't have a feeling. People are like, well, I turned on the news and I felt this, that, or the other. That's right, because you had a thought about it. If you don't turn on the news, you don't have a feeling about it. You
Mhm,
have to know about it and have a conscious thought to have a feeling. And this is really important because once we realize everything on the outside is a reflection of our thinking and our belief systems and our programs on the inside, then that's the only place we can go to
mhm.
create change. We have
Yep.
to go inside. It's an inside
Yep.
out job.
Yep.
And this is the best news in the world because that means you have the ability, the capacity to reframe anything, to see
Mhm,
yourself, other people, your own damn past
mhm,
completely differently with just a change in thought. And that's why the thought work and learning the thought work is so important. And
mhm,
I also think it lets us off the hook a little bit. And so I love when my clients and your clients get the concept like, there's nothing wrong with me. I'm just
mhm.
having a thought error.
Yep. Yep.
And like you realize it's just a thought error. It's just
Yep.
a thought that's taking me somewhere I don't want to go. So I'm going to
Mhm,
go back and I'm going to get a different thought that will take me where I want to go.
mhm.
So it also becomes less about like, I'm wrong, I'm bad, I'm weak, I
Yeah.
can't, I don't know how. And oh, it's just a thought error. It's
Mhm,
just a thought error. It's just a mistake. I can correct that.
mhm.
And so, yes, thinking is everything. That doesn't mean we don't have to take action, but you won't take action until you can control your thoughts.
Yep.
That's what you see
Yep.
out in the majority of the world. Come learn the strategies, do the 9-step thing,
Yep.
do it fast, do it this way, and you'll get new results. And listen, I'm not anti-strategy or anti-action, and
Yep.
I'm not even going to tell you can't get a little bit of traction doing that. But you can't take the same program, the same set of thoughts, slap new action onto it,
Yep.
and create a lasting new
Yep.
result.
Yep.
It
Impossible.
defies
Yep.
science. It's
Yep.
not possible
Yep.
because the root of everything you do and all your behaviors and your results is what you're thinking. So if you don't change that, back to where we started, you're sitting in the driveway, putting your own damn address in the GPS over and over and wondering, I don't know. I just washed my car again. I put new tires on. I mean, I keep doing all the action things and I never get anywhere new because you keep putting the same program in over and over. So you
Yes.
can shine up that car. You can keep packing it full of the suitcases. You can get it all ready, do all the action, all those strategies until you put in a different set of thoughts, a different address into the GPS. You're still going to be sitting in the driveway, just where
Yep.
you were when you got in the car.
Yep.
And that's why we do the thought work. When
Yep.
you do the thought work, then you will be able to implement the strategies. And
Mhm.
that's why strategy and mindset are the brilliant combination.
Yep.
And they go together. And that's what creates results in our life, in all
Absolutely.
areas, not just business.
Yes, absolutely. In multiple areas. Liz, I love this so much. This was so good. So good. Thank you for being here today. Everybody, don't forget, grab your mindset reset from Liz and please go join her over in her Facebook group. Liz, will you share the title of your Facebook group so that people can find you?
Absolutely. It's the Mindset Mastery School for Women in Business. The Mindset Mastery School for Women in Business. And there are so many hours, hundreds of hours of free trainings and resources. I'm in there every single day. My clients are in there. My students are in there. I have interviews. It is just, it's chock full of free gold. And
Yeah.
honestly, I'm very proud of how many people tell me just by following me, they have changed their life and their business. So I would love people to just be part of that very active and very amazing community.
It's a great group. Love being a part of that group. It's so good. Yeah. Awesome. Liz, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. I hope people are asking me questions today because I'm going to be in there ready for the mindset questions.
Yes, please pop your questions in the comments. Liz is going to be popping in. She's going to be looking for any comments, any questions that she can answer. Also, feel free to reach out to Liz anytime.
Yeah.
Like, just know that she's totally open and available. If you have any questions that you want to reach out to her directly, she'll be more than happy to get back with you. So,
absolutely.
Liz, I love you so much. So grateful for you. Yay.
Thank you so much for inviting me. This was so fun.
Yes. Awesome. Okay, everybody, you have a great day and we will see you tomorrow. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone.